accusing the FBI of withholding documents.
So Patel responding on X saying, if records have been hidden, we will uncover them and we will bring everything we find to the DOJ to be fully assessed and transparently disseminated to the American people as it should be. So what comes next in this pursuit of transparency? For more, let's welcome in former FBI agent Jonathan Gilliam, former FBI Supervisory Special Agent John Nantz. John, I will start with you. An overwhelming rollout, a rushed process. What happened here? And if she thinks that the FBI is sitting on more papers, why wait until after all of this to release to say so?
Yeah, it seems like there's a lack of coordination between the AG's office and the director's office. We'll need to know more information about what went on at New York Field, but it was obvious that the AG didn't feel like she had the appropriate amount of material before she released those documents. So I'm not sure what the rush was exactly. I don't think you're not going to see there's no such thing as shredding documents. The FBI information management system is incredibly robust and it's fully discoverable. So that's not going to be the problem. The Oklahoma City bombing contained about 3 million documents in the case files and otherwise. So you're not talking about something that you can just send a zip file over to DOJ that will deliver all those documents. There's probably also some physical evidence involved as well. So I think there may be a little bit of lack of communication or coordination. And the director has only been in office for about a week. So I think we're going to have to cut these folks a little bit of slack until they can get their legs underneath them and iron out some of these issues.
Yeah, Jonathan, so the Attorney General believes that the New York field office is in possession of thousands of related documents and failed to disclose them. Can you imagine any situation where it would be okay for an FBI field office to deny a direct request from the Attorney General of the United States or the FBI director?
Typically, when you look at the way the FBI and the DOJ works and the relationship between the two, I would not come up with a scenario where, and I don't think John would either, where when the DOJ asks for the information, that they're going to get it. But here's the problem, is that, and I would love to hear John's take on this as well, because I'm wondering if some of this evidence was never logged into, or this information was never logged into evidence, because that's the only way, as John was just saying, how robust the system is. Once something's put into evidence, it's there. It's not like it's on some remote hard drive that they can just delete off of. It's redundant. Once the stuff is in there, it is highly secured. And so the only plausibility here is that some of this information may have went to the Southern District and never got put into FBI evidence. And so that would explain why it's not there, why it can't be found, or why they're not pushing it forward. But I'll tell you something else I believe is that this should be a hard lesson for the Trump administration, which includes Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, is you have to tread lightly with these social media people, because had they just said that they had the information and then didn't release it, that would have been one thing. But when you give it to these quote unquote influencers who go outside the White House and hold it up in the air and shake it, you get a perfect example of the reality of what influencers actually are. They influence emotion, and that's about it. And that's what bit them, I think, more than anything.
Yeah, great point. And we know that Pam Bondi says she's not backing away from this. Americans will be getting the full Epstein files. She says, quote, "We will get everything. We will have it in our possession. We will redact it, of course, to protect grand jury information and confidential witnesses." As she said, there's more than 250 victims that she's seen in this report. But the American people have the right to know, she says. So, John, do you think Americans will get full transparency here? Will we ultimately see all the files?
Yeah, absolutely. Kash Patel has stated over and over again that he's committed to transparency. Pam Bondi's committed to that as well. You basically have a new sheriff in town, so there's not going to be any more of this obfuscation or cover-ups. And Jonathan makes some great points. And I think that's where some of this confusion is coming from these quote-unquote influencers that don't know the difference
Bye.